On your last flight, the crew made an announcement you heard and completely ignored. Hidden inside the routine phrases, the chimes, and the polite requests is a second language, coded messages flowing between the cockpit, the cabin, and the ground, in plain sight of every passenger. These are 21 cabin announcements that are actually coded warnings, ranked by the severity of what they conceal. Number 21. The invisible boundary. The signal is a double chime shortly after takeoff, the sound of the aircraft passing 10,000 feet. Below that altitude, crews operate under the sterile cockpit rule, Federal Aviation Regulation 121.542, enacted in 1981 after investigators found that casual cockpit conversation had contributed to fatal accidents, including the 1974 crash of Eastern Airlines Flight 212. Until that double ding, cabin crew know one thing: do not call the pilots unless someone is dying. Below 10,000 feet, the flight deck is legally forbidden from any conversation, activity, or interruption not essential to flying the aircraft. No meal orders, no passenger questions, no small talk. 2 soft chimes, and the wall comes down. Number 20. Weapons going live. The phrase is cabin crew, arm doors, and cross-check. Spoken by the lead flight attendant on airlines worldwide before pushback, it means the evacuation slides are now armed. From this moment, opening any door will fire an inflatable slide in seconds. The cross-check exists because crews kept getting it wrong. Inadvertent slide deployments injure staff and cost airlines tens of thousands of dollars per mistake, which is why a second crew member must verify every door. Number 19. Everyone pick up. 2 words, all call. When you hear it after the doors announcement, every flight attendant on the aircraft picks up their interphone at once. A conference call across the cabin. It exists because the arming of doors must be confirmed station by station, in sequence, before the aircraft moves. It is the quietest roll call you will ever witness, and it happens on nearly every flight you take. Number 18. The final page. This one is your own name, called at the gate in the last minutes of boarding. It sounds like courtesy. It is actually a security countdown. Under international baggage reconciliation rules, strengthened by ICAO after the bombing of Air India Flight 182 in 1985 and Pan Am 103 over Lockerbie in 1988, a checked bag generally cannot fly without its passenger. That page means the airline is minutes from pulling your luggage off the aircraft, and the clock is unforgiving. Locating and extracting one suitcase from a loaded hold can delay a departure by 15 minutes or more, which is why gate agents would rather say your name 3 times than open the cargo door once. Number 17. Paperwork that isn't. We're just finishing up some last-minute paperwork. You have heard it a dozen times. What that paperwork usually is? The load sheet, the legal calculation of weight and balance that determines whether the aircraft can safely fly, and how. Pilots cannot depart until it is signed. Airlines adopted the phrase "because we are recalculating whether the plane is balanced" tends to generate questions no one at the front wants to answer. Number 16. The chop scale. 3 casual words, so light chop ahead, and a graded vocabulary behind them. Pilots grade turbulence, chop, light, moderate, severe, using official reporting categories, and every step in that ladder is deliberately understated for the cabin. When a pilot says a few bumps, dispatch and air traffic control may be hearing moderate turbulence reported. The wording is chosen by crews for one reason: calm passengers follow instructions, and frightened ones do not. Number 15. The pocket myth. The term is air pocket, and it is a soothing fiction. The term was popularized by journalists in the early decades of flight to describe turbulence, and airlines kept it because it sounds like a small, contained thing. There is no pocket. It is simply turbulent air. The phrase survives a century later because it performs its intended function. It makes violent physics sound briefly cute. Number 14. Doctors discreetly. Is there a medical professional on board? Every frequent flyer has heard it at least once. What passengers rarely know is who else is already on the call. Since 1987, services like MedAir's MedLink have connected crews by radio to emergency physicians on the ground. For many airlines, a doctor in Phoenix, Arizona is advising your flight before any volunteer stands up. The announcement is not desperation. It is one layer of a documented medical response system. It is that ground physician, not the volunteer in seat 12C, who typically advises the captain on the heaviest question of all, whether the aircraft diverts, a decision that can cost the airline 6 figures and every passenger their connection. Number 13. A missing child. The announcement is Code Atom. Broadcast in airport terminals, it means a child has disappeared, and staff immediately move to monitor exits. The program is named for 6-year-old Adam Walsh, abducted in 1981, and was created in 1994 before spreading to airports and public buildings across North America. On broadcast, staff receive a description of the child, and if the child is found with an adult, employees are trained to delay, politely, procedurally, while authorities arrive. If you ever hear it, the doors around you are already being watched. Number 12. Freeze the field. The code is Code Bravo, a general security alert used at airports and by some carriers. Staff may begin shouting, "Bravo, Bravo, Bravo," and here is the unsettling part. The shouting is aimed at you. The procedure is designed to freeze the public in place because a crowd standing still lets security teams spot the one person still moving. The commotion is not panic. It is a tool. Number 11. The death chime. The code, according to the internet, is 3 chimes, a secret signal that someone has died on board, or that the aircraft is being hijacked. This file corrects the record. That claim is a myth. Chime patterns are real, but their meanings are airline-specific and mundane by comparison. On several carriers, a triple or high-low chime is a priority call between crew stations, most often meaning significant turbulence is minutes away. The truth is useful, the legend is not. Number 10. Sit down, now. The order is, cabin crew, be seated immediately. Note the word choice. Not prepare the cabin. Not suspend service. When the pilots use immediately, they are looking at something on the radar or hearing a report from an aircraft ahead, and they have concluded there is no time to secure carts. The Federal Aviation Administration lists turbulence as the leading cause of injuries in non-fatal airline accidents, and nearly all of the injured are people who were not strapped in. Crews are trained to abandon carts mid-aisle and drop into the nearest seat, even a passenger's armrest, when that word is used. If the flight attendants are sitting on the floor, it is not because they panicked, it is because they were told to. Number 9. Pilots, ring softly. It sounds harmless. Any company pilots on board, please press your call button. It is among the rarest announcements in aviation, and it is exactly what it sounds like. A member of the flight crew may be incapacitated. Documented cases exist. Off-duty pilots have been quietly summoned forward to occupy a seat in the cockpit after a crew member fell ill mid-flight. Commercial aircraft are certified to be flown and landed by a single pilot precisely for this scenario, but procedure calls for filling the empty seat whenever qualified hands are available. The request is phrased gently, by design, because its real meaning would empty the color from every face in the cabin. Number 8. Come to the door. The summons is senior cabin crew to the flight deck. Please. Since 2002, when reinforced locked cockpit doors became mandatory after September 11th, pilots cannot simply be visited. So this announcement is the formal summons for a face-to-face conversation. Sometimes it is coffee, sometimes it is a fuel decision, a diversion, or a briefing the pilots refuse to give over the interphone. The phrase is identical in both cases, that is the point. Number 7. Chimes in series. This one has no words at all, a rapid sequence of chimes. On many airlines, 4 or more in succession, the cockpit's emergency alert to the cabin. Unlike the routine dings, this pattern is trained, airline-specific, and unmistakable to crew. Stop everything and pick up the interphone now. Passengers hear a quirky string of dings. Flight attendants hear the beginning of the checklist they hoped never to run. Number 6. 4 letters, briefed. 4 letters, NITS, and if you ever overhear them, the situation is real. It stands for nature, intentions, time, special instructions. The standardized emergency briefing format used by crews worldwide. The captain tells the senior flight attendant the nature of the problem, what the pilots intend to do, how much time remains, and any special instructions. Those 4 letters exist so that in a crisis, nothing important can be forgotten or misunderstood. Number 5. 2 easy words. At several carriers, crews report a phrase, "Easy Victor." Crew accounts describe it as a discreet phrase, directing flight attendants to quietly prepare for a possible evacuation. reviewing commands, scanning exits, counting rows, without alarming the cabin. This file marks it precisely. It is airline-specific and crew-reported rather than published doctrine, because codes like this only work while passengers do not know them, which is exactly why airlines neither confirm nor print them. Number 4. The recorded voice. The code is the announcement no human makes. On modern aircraft, a sudden loss of cabin pressure triggers pre-recorded emergency announcements automatically, a calm, synthetic voice instructing passengers to fasten seatbelts and secure oxygen masks. It was engineered for the scenario aviation fears most, a depressurization in which the crew may be seconds from losing consciousness themselves. If you ever hear that voice, the aircraft is already diving to breathable air, deliberately. The system exists because at cruise altitude, the time of useful consciousness after a rapid decompression can be under 30 seconds. Not enough to guarantee a human announcement at all. Engineers concluded the only voice certain to stay calm and certain to stay conscious was one that was never alive. Number 3. One word, twice. The word is brace, spoken twice, and it is the last instruction before an impact, its exact choreography written in blood. After the 1989 Kegworth disaster in England, where a British Midland 737 crashed short of the runway, investigators found survival correlated with body position, and brace commands and postures across the industry were rebuilt around that evidence. When crews scream those words in unison, they are executing research paid for at the highest possible price. Number 2. 90 seconds. The command is evacuate, 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 and behind it stands one of aviation's most demanding rules. Under certification standard FAR 25.803, a manufacturer must prove an entire aircraft can empty in 90 seconds using only half its exits, a live demonstration performed in darkness, with a mixed crowd of volunteers, before the type is ever allowed to carry a paying passenger. Every command that follows, leave everything, jump and slide, is scripted, trained annually, and timed. The passengers who die in survivable accidents are overwhelmingly the ones who stopped for their bags. Number 1. The perfect announcement. The code is the one this file cannot give you. The covert phrases crews use to signal a hijacking without alerting the hijackers. They exist, and their history is documented. For decades, crews operated under the common strategy, a doctrine built during the hijacking epidemic of the late 1960s and 70s, which assumed compliance and negotiation. September 11th destroyed that assumption, and the strategy was rewritten, its current signals classified as sensitive security information, changed periodically, and known only to trained crew. Somewhere in the routine announcements of an ordinary flight, there is a sentence engineered to sound like nothing at all, and if it is ever spoken, the calm voice you hear will be the bravest performance on that aircraft. 21 announcements, a language spoken over your head on every flight, designed to inform the crew and soothe the cabin in the same breath. The next time you fly, listen closely. The most important sentence on board may be the one that sounds the most ordinary. If this file taught you something, subscribe and open the next one. Another file is already waiting on your screen.